Exec here. We understand the system deeply, and we are driving operational excellence.
Hello, I'm Army veteran Dan Hunter, Communications Specialist at the Department of Veteran Affairs. Welcome to another episode of Talking Tech. Today, we're going to dive into the intersection of compassion and technology through OIT's Transformative IT Connect program. To understand how this proactive initiative is driving change within VA, we're going to have a discussion with Mr. Dewey Tucker, a senior IT project manager in end user services and a member of the Project Manager Center of Excellence in IT. He'll talk about the program's purpose, core principles, and the innovative methods enhancing collaboration and communication, and the real-world impacts of the program's issue resolution strategies. Remember, Talking Tech is more than just a broadcast, it's a dialogue. And we welcome your participation. Feel free to post your comments and questions in our comment section, and we'll have them answered live. With that introduction, I'm delighted to welcome Mr. Dewey Tucker to the discussion. Mr. Tucker, can you talk a little bit about yourself?
Thank you, Dan. At its core, my role in IT Connect is to coordinate and facilitate a conversation between a group of multi-pillar OIT leaders with local OIT staff in the field, OIT business partners, and OIT customers. Does that take a lot of planning, communication, coordination, and organization? Yes. But as the audience will hear today, it's well worth it for the results this team creates. On a personal note, I also want to share that I'm an Army veteran, I'm a disabled veteran, and I'm an OIT employee. And my two biggest takeaways as part of these site visits is, one, we have some amazingly brilliant, talented people in this organization, leadership and staff. And two, regarding the leadership, they really do want to help. Thank you.
Well, thank you for joining us and taking the time out of your busy schedule. We greatly appreciate it. And we also appreciate the video that you brought from a recent Gainesville visit.
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you for sharing.
Hey everybody, my name is Ron Haskell, the Director of Communication for VA's Office of Information and Technology, and we are here in Gainesville, Florida for the IT Connect visit. IT Connect allows local leaders in VHA, VBA, NCA, as well as local IT leaders to connect with service line leadership in the Office of Information Technology to identify pain points to make sure that our customers have a delightful end user experience. So often in tech, connection means networks or databases, but for IT Connect, it's about connecting people.
They're not calling us out, we're going out to them and saying, hey, how's our service? What can we do better for you?
Didn't invite them, but I'm glad they did come. Higher up kind of mention our name. We're pretty known in terms of being a great organization, highly engaged. We have a great team here.
It's personal for me. I am a veteran, and I have two brothers that are 100% service disabled. And that's the reason why we do some of the things we do in IT to make sure that we try to make that service the best possible service, because real lives are on the other side.
I loved Bob Cunningham's words that these are not action items, they're promises to help get things done when we can. They're not promises to fix everything, they're promises to get in the trenches and work with you.
I want to make sure that we provide that best possible service that we can provide in our partnership with our VCL brethren. That system's up, no matter what part of that system is, and that we're servicing the veterans that need that.
We chartered, and now we're a real thing, so to speak.
To learn more about IT Connect, visit digital.va.gov.
Thank you for sharing. That's a lot of background. You think about the system engineering lifecycle, you think about Agile, you think about DevOps, DevSecOps. Forget about people. And it's great that you include the people element in what you're doing with IT Connect. Can you provide an overview of the IT Connect program, its mission within the Department of Veterans Affairs, and what it's doing for the veteran?
The IT Connect program was established to connect the Veterans Affairs IT staff with each other and the customers they serve. This unified OIT program is intended to instill empathy and bring awareness to the operational struggles within the Department of Veterans Affairs. The program conducts 3-day site visits to a nominated site with a rotating group of 10 leaders from across multiple pillars of OIT. Team members are briefed to listen first for understanding, attempt to provide immediate resolution to minor issues quickly, or for issues that can't be resolved on site, they're entered into the team's action tracker. These action items, known by the team as promises, are worked by the IO IT Connect program support team to resolution. I am proud to say no action item is closed until the person or the group that brought the issue forward is satisfied with the solution. To date, the team has taken 346 issues and successfully resolved 280 for a closure rate of 81% as we continue to work on the remaining issues. As the team often says, we want to hear it all, the good, the bad, and the ugly. As we cannot make it better if we cannot sit down and have an honest conversation about the issues at hand. One of the questions our team often uses to get a town hall started is what is getting in the way of you doing your very best job in your current position?
Can you elaborate on some of the tangible benefits the IT Connect program offers to our veteran community?
Yes, the team conducts 3-day site visits to a nominated location to do 4 things. 1, hear the challenges, wins, and innovations from our staff and customers both internally and externally. 2, proactive customer service visits to our external customers like VHA, VBA, and NCA. 3, relationship building and reaffirming the mantra of one team, one mission. And 4, increase senior leadership awareness, involvement, and support. Additionally, the program is sharing best practices, building bridges, conducting workshops, and reconnecting with our customers. We are supporting our care providers and veterans through high-quality IT tools and improving uptime for providers, thus giving them more face-to-face time with veterans.
Yeah, the big thing I captured here was the coordination, collaboration, that communication, which is very important. So with that being said, how do you actively gather user feedback and insights to drive continuous improvements within the IT Connect program?
The program collects feedback via separate anonymous post-visit surveys to the local OIT staff and the site travel team. 2 sample questions from the staff survey are 1, how would you rate your personal experience with the IT Connect site visit to your location? On a scale of 1 to 10, the program is averaging 9.13 across 12 site visits. Number 2, how would you rate the IT Connect's team performance in listening to the staff? The program averages 9.45 across the same 12 site visits. The rest of the survey questions are open-ended with a focus on feedback and suggestions for improvement. I would like to share just one statement of feedback from an OIT staff member about our visit to their site. Quote, actions speak louder than words, and I was impressed on the swift action taken by the IT Connect team. We know some of these changes will not happen overnight, but appreciate the visibility being placed on the concerns for future action. It's refreshing to be amongst a group of leaders and decision makers that are listening to understand instead of listening to respond. I felt everyone was genuine with their desire to effect change, unquote. I would further like to share just one statement of feedback from an OIT leader after attending just one of our site visits. Quote, "The IT Connect program is critical to connecting enterprise service lines with the ground truth of what happens at our VA facilities day in and day out. The enterprise technicians do not normally get to see firsthand how what they do matters in the end to customers and the veterans. IT Connect also allows the local OIT workforce and the enterprise OIT workforce to get to meet each other, and both sides get to appreciate the expertise, passion, and dedication of their counterparts. This shared respect is a significant game changer and magnifies the concept that we really are all one team," unquote. Additionally, we are conducting lessons learned meetings with the travel team after each site visit to assess the intent, the results, and the outcome from the past visit. We use all these inputs to improve the process for the next visit. 12 site visits to date, and not one is the same as another.
Wow. So you're looking at this from the perspective of lots of different individuals from lots of different locations, lots of business lines to help improve the process going forward. So looking at it that way, are there any challenges the IT Connect program faces, and how does it aim to solve them?
Contrary to what some people think, IT is still a people business, and some challenges require a face-to-face human connection to plot a successful and sustained solution. Breaking down the silos that divide our teams through face-to-face listening sessions, town halls, and focus groups. Advancing the CIO's vision of delightful end-user experience by 1, listening to the concerns, challenges, and wins of our OIT staff and our internal and external customers. 2, reaffirming the strength of the VA mission to care for those who have bore the battle. 3, partnering with all the pillars of OIT to ensure speedy resolution to issues and creating leadership awareness to the pressing issues in the field. And 4, reaffirming the organizational focus on fix today, how can I help you, and solving for yes.
That's a lot. So going back to the past and talking about the trips that you made, talking about the process and the progress that you've made in the IT Connect program, and you're still looking at improvements. Are there any anticipated developments for the IT Connect program?
Yes, the team is working with our OIT partners to ensure suggestions from the field are integrated in future veteran-facing platforms. A 2024-2025 strategic communication plan is currently in development with the strategic communication team to create awareness of this program and its tangible results. Continuous process improvement cycles after each visit to maximize the value added to the local staff and the OIT customers.
Wow. You've covered a lot in a very short period of time. I greatly appreciate that, and I know that our colleagues out in the IT world greatly appreciate that. Is there anything that I missed? Is there anything that I forgot to ask?
I would like to thank the following OIT leaders: Bunkum Patel, Sandra Johnson, Michael Gracie, and Jack Galvin for allowing me the pleasure and the honor to be part of this wonderful team. It has truly been the highlight of my 13-year career as a project manager. I'd like to close with sharing a Winston Churchill quote that I believe perfectly reflects the heart of the IT Connect program. Quote, "Courage is what it takes to stand up and speak. Courage is also what it takes to sit down and listen." Unquote. IT Connect does not promise to solve all these issues brought forward in these site visits, but it does promise to listen and to try. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to participate in this with us, in this Talking Tech episode. At this time, we will take some questions from the audience. First question we have is, can you explain the process to request a site visit? In other words, and I also heard the term house visit or house call. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, on the house call issue, that term is used metaphorically. It's the house calls are to the VA facilities, our OIT staff, and our partners. To get more, they can reach out and learn more about the program at the IT Connect SharePoint site that we'll share with the audience today. If they're interested in a visit, they should partner up with their area manager and their director of operations, who can submit a request on that same site visit. And if they're interested in any additional questions, you can contact me directly at dewey.tucker@va.gov.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that background on how they can reach out to get in contact with you to get something set up. How do you measure the effectiveness of your approach in understanding the other's perspectives rather than immediately jumping in to solve a problem?
We do this through survey results and feedback from the staff, customers, and local leadership. The team always maintains a focus on customizing the agenda to the needs of the local site team and staff. In fact, the local area manager and their team are the ones who build the site visit agenda to reflect what they want to discuss, show, and get support with.
So if I understand that correctly, you are really in a listening mode to pick up the problems, understand what the concerns are, to get all of the parties involved, and then you develop some approach to help resolve that problem with IT Connect.
Absolutely, Dan. I mean, listening is the bedrock of the program. It is. You know, an honest, open conversation about the issues at hand and what we can do about them. And that all starts with listening.
Awesome. Awesome. We do have another question. What criteria do you consider when tailoring solutions to individual sites' needs?
A collaboration of OIT pillar leaderships and local site members to find the best possible solution, while of course maintaining a safeguard on all patient data and privacy.
We have another question that came in. How do you create the safety and trust necessary for people to share the bad and the ugly? During your presentation, you mentioned they wanted to hear the good, the bad, and the ugly. With this question, how do you create a safe and the trust necessary for people to share the bad and the ugly?
That's a great question. You know, some of the little things, you know, we don't wear ties because we don't want to be perceived as a suits meeting. One of the other things that when I first came to the program, I was just amazed at and didn't understand is when we go on a site, we do 2 town halls with the same OIT staff. And I must admit, when I first joined the program, I didn't understand that, but I went along with it. And after my first site visit, I understand the brilliance of it now. Because in the first town hall, you'll usually get the most senior people or the most outspoken people will speak up. The rest won't usually speak up much. And that usually happens on a Tuesday. The site visits are Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Okay. And then we'll do the second town hall on Thursday. And if we've done our job properly, you'll see much more engagement in that one. You know, I like to joke about it this way and say, you know, after they see that nobody got fired, nobody got beaten, nobody got chastised in the first one, the people that didn't want to speak up in that first one, by the second one, they're like, hey, maybe I will speak up. And that's really how we achieve that.
That is awesome to hear. That is a great story. Do you have any locations or people that locations from the past that you can highlight? Any great stories?
That's a really great question. I mean, one of the things just to share in general, it's not real site specific, but over a number of site visits, we've discovered incredible needs by the VA research community, which is an incredible part of scientific research in the world. And they had a lot of challenges. And what we did with that is we actually spun it off to a separate group. And what we had actually here in DC last October was an OIT research summit where we brought together lots of leaders from OIT, lots of leaders from the VA research community, all to come together to face again, build some trust and some understanding, to mutually in the same room understand the challenges and the challenges that our research community face. We are currently, we've got a whole separate team working on just the research stuff. And they're big and hairy and complex problems, I'll be the first one to say. But we have been making progress on them. And one of which just recently came out in a bulletin was guidance on how researchers can actually utilize freeware on a VA network computer, which traditionally has not been allowed. And there's new guidance that just came out, and part of that came out of that summit. And we have a whole lot of other things in the works for the research community.
Wow, IT Connect, simplifying the complex.
Absolutely.
Well, you do have while we were talking, we had another question that came in. Can you elaborate a little further? You talked about the 3-day process. Mm-hmm. Can you talk to us a little bit more about what occurs on those 3 days and how that works?
Yeah, absolutely. A site visit really happens from a Monday to a Friday. Monday and the Friday are travel days, right? So really the site visit happens Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. As I alluded to earlier, we like to do a town hall on Tuesday and a town hall on Thursday for exactly that dynamic, to get the people that didn't want to speak up or didn't feel safe to do so in the second. The only other things we really try to push for is a closed door focus group type of meeting with the leadership of the local VHA, VBA, and NCA. After that, we really do hands off. We guide the area manager a little bit based on best practices we've seen at some of the other locations, but we really are proud about the fact that they build the agenda. We meet with who they want to meet with, who customers they serve have issues. And it doesn't have to be necessarily problems. It can be wins. You know, OIT is full of brilliant, brilliant people. And, you know, sometimes they will find a way, let me say it this way, they will find a way to get it done. And sometimes those are great practices that can be rolled out to the rest of the community.
Wow. So sometimes you do have to take that time to take a deep breath and congratulate yourself.
Yes.
Yes. Do have one more question here, and that question is, are solutions for improvements able to be shared between sites?
That's a great question, and absolutely. I mean, ultimately, that's really what we're shooting for. You know, as an example of that, some of our early site visits, we kept uncovering a lot of issues with Active Directory and how that's managed. And that wasn't, and forgive me, I'm not the most technical person, but ultimately those processes weren't uniformed across the organization and was causing a lot of problems for some of our techs. And so coming out of IT Connect came a summit headed up by Michael Gracie to develop an Active Directory playbook. And so that helped give some guidance and some standardization to those practices. You know, ultimately that's exactly what we want to do, is be able to fix some issues and roll that out to the rest of the organization.
Awesome. You brought up another question that came in. Can you share how you're approaching your tech work in a trauma-informed way?
Can you share how? Honestly, I'm not sure I understand the nature of the question. Do we have any context to that?
We can take the time, take the question, and get back to you in the audience. We look forward to the discussion. We greatly appreciate that. How do you bring the pain points and bright spots to the team delivering the product or service inside the OIT community?
Oh, that's interesting. That's a good question. I mean, very often it's in the method that the local team wants to frame that up. We absolutely try to share that, and we try to not only pain points, yes, very often that becomes kind of a dominant of the conversation, but we really want to celebrate wins too.
Celebrate those wins.
Absolutely.
Celebrate those wins. That's a great thing to do, and that's something that most organizations don't really take the time to do. Okay. You want to celebrate those big things that you're doing.
Absolutely.
A lot of times organizations will get caught up in beating each other up and not building each other up. So it's a great opportunity to celebrate those wins. But Dewey, we greatly appreciate you taking the time to come visit with us and talk about what you're doing to help our nation's veterans ultimately. We greatly appreciate it. We greatly appreciate what your team does. We also thank you in attendance for participating, for watching the show, for sending questions. We appreciate your encouragement and your continuous engagement and feedback. This is Talking Tech, how we use ones and zeros to help our nation's heroes. Thank you and have a great day.